Hey guys, Jake from 8020 Media here. I've been having some issues with the transmission on my 2002 F350 with the 7.3 PowerStroke in it. The transmission has been shifting very rough, and the overdrive off button has been flashing. There actually isn't any indicator light on the dashboard to let you know when you have a transmission problem on these 7.3 PowerStrokes, and so it tells you by flashing off on the overdrive button over here, and so that'll flash in an orange color. And so today we're going to be showing you the easiest way to read engine codes as well as read transmission codes on these 7.3 PowerStrokes. While this is a 2002, the 7.3 PowerStroke from 1994 until 2003 was not fully OBD2 compatible. And so you can't buy your typical $20 or $30 OBD reader on Amazon and plug it into this truck and have it work. Now, even if you can find a cheap one that does work for reading engine codes, the majority of those cheap ones don't read transmission codes. So if you want to read transmission codes, you're going to need something a little bit more expensive. And there are some really good code readers for PowerStroke engines out there. However, a lot of them run $300, $400, or $500 for even a lower end one, with some of them running up to the thousands of dollars mark. I'm really just trying to figure out what's wrong with my transmission here. I don't have the need for an extremely expensive OBD reader. I'm really just trying to pull the codes off here and figure out what I need to do to get my transmission fixed. I'm going to be showing you the easiest and cheapest way to get a good code reader, transmission reader for the 7.3 PowerStroke. One of the best ways to read codes on these engines is through a program called Forscan. Now, Forscan can either be downloaded on your laptop, or they have an iPhone or an Android app in the App Store. You have a couple options. Option one is to get the plug-in cable that hooks up via USB into a computer. This cable was like $35. This was the kind of cheapest way to do this. The alternative way is to use the app on your Android or iPhone, but to do that you have to buy a Bluetooth capable OBD2 dongle here, and those things are about $140. I opted just to get the laptop one since I'm really just trying to read codes. There are a lot of other really cool things that you can do with Forscan, but this is really all you need just to read codes. It's extremely simple. All you need to do is get this hookup, either this one or the Bluetooth one, plug it into the OBD2 port on the vehicle, which is located right here under your right leg, right underneath the driver pedal. And so once that's plugged in and you have it hooked into your computer, you can open the Forscan app and then turn your ignition to on. You can turn the car on fully if you want, but you don't have to. Once you have it plugged in, you have Forscan open, you just connect it to the vehicle via a little button down here at the bottom. And once it connects to the vehicle, it will go ahead and read every diagnostic code that's in here that's stored within the engine, within the transmission, and within any of the other modules that this car has. And so there's a whole section in here for reading DTC codes. And so this will show you if you have any issues with your instrument cluster, with your PCM, with your parking aid module, with the restraint control module, general electronic module, as well as your ABS system. This will pull through all of the various different codes that you might possibly have on your 7.3 PowerStroke. Then you can just simply go down the list here and see all of the different ones that you have. Now, I would note when I first plugged my truck in, I had about 20 codes come up on here. These PCMs will store codes for a long time, and so I do recommend clearing all of the codes, turning the ignition off, and then turning it back on, and then it'll read them and give you all of the current codes. And so to do that, there's just a little button down here to reset all of your trouble codes. And once you reset them, you turn them back on, and then it'll give you all of the things that are actually wrong with your car right now. Just ticking through the list, I have an issue with my EPC solenoid. Just off the bat, I know that that's probably what's causing my transmission-related problems. I'm also getting a code from the electronic module for my transfer case, my two-wheel drive solenoid. I'm guessing that's probably also an issue with the EPC solenoid, but I need to look into that a little bit further. And then I am getting two engine codes here for the dual generator, which is the alternators on these cars. Now, when I turn my truck on, these will go away. I still was getting one for the lower alternator because this truck does have the dual alternator option on it. So I'm wondering if my lower alternator is actually bad because I was having some battery related issues on this truck before. That's mostly it for this video. Just wanted to show you guys how you can read all of the codes that you'd want to read on your 7.3 PowerStroke for $35. This is a lot cheaper of an option than buying a heavy-duty OBD reader. The way I did it, getting the plug-in to the computer, made it nice, cheap, and cost-effective. And the Forscan app is free. They do have a paid version if you want to use some of its more advanced features, but for code reading, it's completely free. And so for $35, you have one of the best solutions out there for reading any code that you might have on your 7.3 PowerStroke. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and I'll put together some more content as I dig through the list of problems with this truck and get them fixed.